Um, uh, hello.
Hey.
Hey, um, Marm, is that what I should call you?
Yeah, that's what my friends call me, and you can call me Marm.
I can call you Marm. And is that short for something?
Kind of. My real name is Marguerite, which is French. I'm not really
Hmm. Okay.
it's very formal, and a lot of people struggle with it. Which is funny because entangled in the word Marguerite is the word argue, and everybody can say argue just fine.
Oh, okay. Right. And we had a little.
If you put an M in front of it and a reet after it, they're like, no, there's a lady in the argue, and we can't deal with it anymore.
Oh, I see. Well, I think a little bit of that spirit is there too, the arguing spirit, huh? Maybe.
I mean, a
Um,
lot. Yeah, I get that a lot. So
so would you
yeah,
like to do the honors, and share a little bit of the context why you're here? Why we are here? What
sure.
happened?
So I made a choice to DM Tada. Is that how you
Hi.
pronounce it?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Tonight.
Hmm.
Uh, I was already a bit drunk when I made that decision.
I love it. I'm having a drink too, by the way. So,
Great, that's
cheers.
awesome. I'm
Yeah, yeah. I'm
drinking
catching up.
fine sparkling water.
Oh, LaCroix. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a bit
Yeah.
high too. So this is
Oh,
so
I'm definitely
I'm
yeah.
with you.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I've been following Tada for I don't know some time, some months,
Mm.
and um, I'm really interested in the kind of stuff that you talk about, but I recognize myself getting into a pattern of maybe setting you up on a pedestal because
Oh,
I do
okay.
that with figures.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
so okay. I'm a figure. I'm a figure.
yeah, and
What I always wanted to be. Okay. Hmm.
I don't like that I'm seeing you that way, and I also don't think you would like me seeing you that way. So
Yeah.
trying to like deconstruct it a little bit, but also, I'm a skeptic. I was raised by atheists. I'm a skeptic through
Mm.
and I was interested in communicating with you more directly if you were the kind of person who was down for that. Um,
Mm.
Partially because I thought it would be fun and I was drunk and I was bored and I wanted to flirt with a stranger. And I
Oh,
told you that, right?
thank you.
So, um,
Thank you,
but also,
God. It's funny you said you're atheist. I'm like, thank you, God. Like, this is, okay.
well, if I was clear and transparent, I figured you would be open to at least receiving that from a place of honesty.
Yeah, I mean, can I read out the first message you sent? Because I thought it was quite,
Yeah, great.
I
Do
thought it
it.
was actually quite, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think in the message in and of itself, I thought was very cute. Like,
I appreciate that.
yeah, it was
I'm a
like,
late blooming flirt, so I really genuinely appreciate that.
oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. And we can talk a little bit of that, but it was like this is a test, parentheses, no judgment either way, of whether you enjoy DMs from strangers, dot, 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 1212, microphone, which is like mic check, um, which is like a very kind of like courteous but flirtatious but also respectful way to enter DMs. And I think I might literally copy and paste that for myself because I'm not very elegant that way. So that was really nice.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
felt really good about it.
Hmm.
I feel like some significant context is that I'm an autistic adult. I'm
Hmm.
autistic, and I'm a late diagnosed autistic adult. And I can't really trust a lot of things that I think a lot of neurotypical people tend to presume about flirting and social interactions and what
Mm.
they're like non-verbally signaled as welcome or not. So I'm really in favor of just like plainly stating my intentions and offering someone an either or option that's unloaded of like,
Mm.
do you want to do this or do you want to do that?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I like it
Yeah.
when people do that with me, and I try to do that with other people. And I find that most human beings respond to it really well, regardless of how they're wired. But
Mm,
that's why it matters so much to me to approach people that way. And I'm
mm.
glad that it is well received.
And following that, I just gotta say, like, I'm really putting this on right now because I'm like, this is such a unique moment. I
The radio
usually don't
DJ
talk.
that I've called into tonight. That's
Sorry?
what this is for me. You're the radio DJ that I've called into tonight. That's what this
Oh,
feels like.
really? I'm a radio DJ, but I thought are radio DJs on pedestals?
Well, like, I don't know. In Detroit, we have some like old school radio DJs that have like the pillow talk voice, and they're like, "Hey, baby, you want to call in and tell me what you're feeling, and tell me who you need to apologize to tonight." And then someone will call in, and they'll be like, "I just really want to tell my baby that like," and people
Yeah.
will really like tell their hearts out to the radio DJ.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead,
Yeah.
or instead of to the person they need to talk to directly, and everyone can hear it. It's kind of insane, but
It is kind of same. Well, I mean,
there's something about
you are
that
doing
person.
that basically.
Well, yeah, there's something about that person who's a figure that is comforting and therapeutic and is like receptive and is like, yeah, baby, tell me what's going on with you tonight. That you just kind of want to like pour your heart
Okay.
out to when you're like up late,
Mm,
drunk with a whole bottle of wine. I don't know. That's my vibe.
mm,
I've
okay.
never called into a radio DJ, but I did slip into DMs tonight with
Okay.
pretty much with a significant confidence that I hear back from you tonight.
Oh,
That was
interesting.
my gamble.
Interesting. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, let me. Oh wow, let me center myself. I'm really in the middle of it now. Um. Okay. Well, let's see. Do you want to talk at all a little bit about your personal reasons? Because I think that's a little bit more like it ends up sharing things about your life that you might be like,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm in a polyamorous dynamic. I've been polyamorous for almost 10 years, which is I'm really proud of. But
Okay, but do you feel like it's something good for you to share though? Just because it's recorded and thing and stuff. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not going to mention any names. If people follow you, they know me and they'll know who I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
I live with one partner and I have another partner, and the other partner and I have taken some space. I've had to take some space from my other
Mm,
partner
mm-hmm.
recently because of decisions that that partner has made, and we've talked about it a lot. But they knew that I was going to need to take space if circumstances turned out the way that they did, and
Yeah.
I'm like in my feelings about it because I really care about this person and I really enjoy having them in my life on a regular basis, and I feel really
Mm,
bummed out over needing to not interact with them for a while because it's too tender for detail.
mm,
But it's not that I'm like heartbroken, it's not that I'm like alone, it's not that I'm lonely. Like, I'm perfectly cared for, I have everything I need. I'm like, I wanted to feel a new vibe with someone who was different, who was strange, who was like, I just wanted some attention the way that people do. And that's what I told you up front, because I think it's better to be honest than to like not be honest when that's the reason. And I feel like you've been kind of sort of posting in a way that makes me feel that you're kind of trying to translate that into a kind of transparency of like, it's okay to be thirsty and just like tell people that you're thirsty.
yeah. Uh-huh.
I relate to that and I vibe with that. And I can't be honest about my thirst because my dynamic has to be closeted because people involved have families that don't know about the whole situation.
What? Wait. Where did that go? Wait, your whole situation with your other
So
person?
the partner that I live with, his family doesn't know that we're poly. So
Oh, okay.
that the way that my primary, and I don't love this language, but what appears to be my primary relationship
Mm-hmm.
looks very heteronormative. It would appear monogamous if you didn't know any better. And most
Mm-hmm.
people presume that it's a hetero
Mm-hmm.
monogamous relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been together for enough time that people are probably presuming that we'll either get married or be one of those couples that just stays together forever, even though they never get married, but then they have kids or whatever. So like, there are people who don't know that there are other factors involved, and that's why I can't always be declarative in my social media, for example, about having a feeling of thirst.
Oh, right.
Technically available to be.
Oh.
I
but you're declaring it here, though.
Well, and yes, who knows? This might be a problem. This is part of why I wanted to have the ability to edit.
Right.
I want this released tomorrow,
Sure.
because I
Yeah, I
know
get it.
me. I am very comfortable communicating in a moment. I will tell you everything about me when I feel fine in the moment, but that doesn't mean it affects other people, right?
Yes, yeah.
So that's an area that I know I need to monitor.
Right. I mean, this podcast is like nobody nobody watches it.
I'm pretty sure that my partner's family does not listen to your podcast, so I'm like not
Yeah.
but yeah, that's an aspect of my life where the DMs serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Because they are a private place to express such things with like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
In a safe and consensual manner, because I have all the consent in the world to act upon my feelings. I just need to be mindful of how it affects other people's disclosure policies with their own lives.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's something I gotta be respectful of.
Yeah, no, that totally makes a lot of sense. Okay. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on me to be really entertaining and funny, but I think you might be doing a better job than me. And I don't know, is there any questions you want to ask? Because you're like the dog that came in ass sniffing, right? A little bit, and then also like you're like, I'm like, I don't know, like I'm drawn to this person. I'm feeling, I don't know, I'm feeling some thirst, and I want some attention, right? Like, and then.
And also, I wanted to test you out. I wanted to like know.
Yeah.
If you trip any of my red flags.
Yes.
The longer I engage with you, like that's definitely a huge part of the interest, and I want to be clear about that. I don't want to like trap you. I like you brought up the word catfishing, and
catfishing, yeah,
that's a fair concern. Like I don't judge you for being like, who is a stranger coming at me trying to be suspicious, and that's fine, and that's why I was willing to come on camera. So I'm willing to be recorded because I am not here to catfish you, but I am in a sense here to test you, and I don't want to be fake about that. I want to be real, but like I'm interested in how you hold up under individual scrutiny.
I love it. I fucking love it. Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna pull a tarot card.
Okay.
Can you hold on one second? I'm gonna bring my tarot deck. I don't even read tarot. I just bought it like a few days ago. All right. Okay. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. All right. So, I don't know. Do you know Sophie Strand?
No, but I'm not great with names.
Yeah, she was just on a podcast of a friend of mine, Sohei, and she said the tarot is like a way you get to outsource your intuition, which I was like, because I always get really wrapped up in tarot and like this must mean this and this must mean this, but I feel like a lot lighter about it, and so like feel a little bit more competent. So is it alright? I peel a card.
Okay.
Do you do tarot?
I do not personally, but I have a friend who does at most of our group functions, so I'm familiar with it.
Okay. Oh, am I supposed to peel this one or am I supposed to shuffle it?
I certainly don't know.
Oh, shit. See, I get caught in traps like this. I'm a bit high too, so I can't make a decision. All right, I'm gonna flip this one. Oh, what? Oh my god. Okay, it's the is this? I think this is 9, or is it 11? Does that make sense? No, that does not make. Oh, it's 9. It's 9 of Pentacles.
Okay.
Okay, this is good. I think it's there's a little bit of like Tada, keep on your toes, but also this is a celebratory moment. But keep on your toes. This is the vibe I'm getting a little bit from the card. And that was that.
Card warning about me? Is that what you're saying?
Sorry.
Is the card for you or for me?
Oh no, I mean it's for this thing,
For
but it's
this.
on my end because I'm the one getting catfish and tested. Like you're not. I'm not testing you. You're testing me. So
Right.
I
The
need to.
card is warning you. The card is warning you to keep on your toes around me. I just want to be clear.
No, not necessarily around you,
Okay.
because this whole conversation is going into a web of people who, you know what I mean. This is like,
Sure. Yeah. Right.
of course, like if I perform really poorly, apparently I can delete this. But I'm actually like really interested. Yeah, in the results of this. So I'm really down. I mean, people are maybe bored and they're not even listening this far, unless they think it's a really interesting conceptual art project, which it is, I think.
Unless they're as curious as I am about how you hold up under the scrutiny of one drunk woman.
Oh my god. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, let's jump in to the
I'm really
scrutiny.
not here to interview like that.
Oh,
Honestly,
okay.
part
Oh,
of
okay.
part of what is just disarming and disabling for me is that we're doing this live, whereas my magic, as you mentioned, my magic is completely held in the written word, and I do not consider myself like in possession of my capacities or my capabilities
Okay.
in this format. So
Oh, okay.
it was strategy. It was smart.
I drew you up.
Because I'm here, but I'm very scatterbrained
Mhm.
when I'm forced to like think on my feet on
Okay.
it.
Right. Well, we're both doing that, and I can be real with you. I'm still don't know what I'm doing right now. I feel a little bit floaty, and like, what am I doing here, Tada? What am I doing here? Let me see. I'm gonna center back in. Is there a question from your belly that you'd like to ask me,
Mm.
or something you'd like to say?
I wish I had a specific question, but I don't know if I do.
Are there any words or any images or anything that come from your belly, or emotions, even sensations?
I feel pretty calm right now, which is good because I didn't at first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really all I wanted was to figure out what kind of energetic response I had to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do that from your words because I feel like I have more of
Mm-hmm.
an ability to manipulate the narrative when I have time to reflect on all the options of what I think you said and then making a decision about how I want to respond to it. And, like I like to really edit my language. That's a personal way that I defend myself and project myself the way that I want to be projected, right? So on some level, I guess like here in this present moment, I'm just trying to like keep up and make sure that I'm not like I don't want to see every interaction that I have with everyone as a transactional nature or like a ringleader audience scenario.
Hmm.
Trying to read this for
Hmm.
those senses. Like, I
Yeah.
want to ringlead our dynamic by coming into your DMs and being like, hey, I'm telling you that I'm here to flirt, so let's fucking talk and run the
Hmm.
show through that mechanism, which I
Yeah.
have some confidence in, but also have the ability to like walk away from and process and not deal with when I want to.
Hmm.
And you escalated by saying, let's get on a video chat. And granted, you had called my bluff by being like, maybe you're a catfish. And I was like, fine, fucking test me. I said that. Like, I said I was
Hmm.
willing to be tested for authenticity, which I am. And you said, part of me is, part of me wants to get on a video chat. And I was like, this guy really is interested in trouble. Because who
Oh,
knows what
oh, is that what you thought?
comes
This
out?
guy's really interested in trouble?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
You said,
do you even know like I'm kind of a edgy or whatever controversial person that has a lot of rumors about me and stuff?
I mean, I follow you, and the algorithm has decided to show me all of your content when I open up my page. So, yeah, I'm aware that you are like under allegations of some sort of sexual nature of misconduct in your field,
Yeah.
and that there are people who are trying to cancel you.
Hmm.
And I've read some of the letters around you, like, and I didn't know who the fuck you were until I found out that you were like a problem for people. Like, I was following you, and then you started telling your followers that you were a problem, but I'm not in your world. Besides you disclosing, like, I only know about you from you.
Wait. So you? Oh, so you haven't heard from other people, but I'm the one who's like, but you were already following me.
Yes.
But then I was the one who's like, I'm a problem.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this guy's a problem.
And
Let me find out more. You were like, ooh.
I'm like, that's really unusual. And I okay, like, I guess some other disclosure, I suppose, is that I am familiar with other people who have had problems with
Hmm.
community accountability
Oh,
that
yeah.
has been, just unsuccessful in its efforts
Yeah.
at
Hmm.
best. Like, that's the nicest possible way I can say.
Right.
And in some cases, there are some circumstances. There's a
Right.
situation I'm involved in right now, not directly involved in, but trying to like support from the sidelines about, in
Yeah.
which it might be a very deliberate smear attempt. And that's,
Hmm.
either truth is horrifying. Either the accuser,
Hmm.
if her truth, if that person's truth is true, it's
Hmm.
horrifying. And if the defendant's
Hmm.
truth is true, equally horrifying. And
Right.
it's all local and it fucking sucks. And so I'm
Yeah.
watching you with a great deal of interest because I see my community failing to address
Yeah.
issues of accountability left and right, but mainly left. And I feel personally threatened, and I feel deeply concerned on behalf of people who are significantly more vulnerable than I am.
Hmm.
And I am looking for better solutions and other tactics. And you are someone that is speaking to that. So I'm following. I'm a follower of that aspect of your work. And I literally know almost nothing else about your work besides like I was following you on Instagram before you started disclosing stuff about that, I think. But
Yeah.
like just barely, and you were just like a blip in my sphere. And
Mm.
then I really became interested in you the more you started talking about things that were affecting you personally in your career, because I am familiar with situations that that are similar that I'm concerned
Right.
about, and I don't really know how to help or handle
Hmm.
or whatever. So
I'm
yeah,
really enjoying this. Just,
okay,
yeah.
good. I'm happy that it's enjoyable.
No, and like the really like I don't know, I guess I felt your real like this is something that really wears on you or
Yeah.
something. Like yeah. Yeah. Cuz I don't know, in a joking way, I went to your Instagram and I saw like all the political memes and I was like, how the shit I say? This person probably is like, what the fuck, Tada? Like so like I think it's pretty obvious. I give a lot of shits about racism, sexism, and transphobia, and all the things, right? Like that is really my nature. And there's a real part of me that's been like, you know what, this ideology shit is not working, and there's no monopoly of there's no monopoly of quote unquote liberation or truth on what is so called the left. And of course, if I voted, I would vote left every time, right? That's not probably like
Yeah.
that's different, but because that's like a pragmatic choice, right? So that's a
Right.
little bit different. Um so there's something about that. And so I when I like to be honest, if I'd like pass by you on Hinge, I like now I'd be like or whatever on Bumble or Tinder or whatever, I'd be like pass because I'm actually afraid of people like you in some sense of like the visible surface stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is about you. So this is to
Sure.
me very interesting. And I also want to own something. Um, and that this is part of the context is like I don't know if you got it, but I'm really interested in making pornography. I mean, I'm already making pornography. I consider this a type of porn, right? Like I think in a meta way, you get that,
Yeah.
right? Right. But like, I'm interested in making like for real porn. Like part of the disclosure is like this. Am I talking too much? This is kind of like selling your business idea, and it's like if you don't fulfill it. So this is just a proposal. This is like a fucking fantasy, right?
Hmm.
So there's a part of me that, and like for me definitely like Tada fucks the SJW was like a really awesome DVD cover. And and I've also said like in many ways like with the people who've canceled me, like the ultimate restorative justice is like making a porno with them. And like the contents of that, they might be a little bit controversial, but when you really think about what restorative justice should be, it like yeah, it is this erotic process. So there's some element of truth to that I'm really interested in. And I was actually thinking about what like if I can't get the people who've canceled me, and there's many, there's like probably 1,000, right? Like there's like a mob whisper network. Fuck, I don't know. So like it could be really anybody really in there, but like the I was thinking the other day I could get somebody to play an SJW for me. And this is I mean, I'm a little bit high and just being extremely problematic, um but that's kind of the kind of place where I'm going. Just to let you know. So that's a little bit of the context of. I mean, what I'm saying is like that's like an art project, and it might not happen, but it's when you're talking about art and you're like, if like I did this fucked up shit, it'd be really funny, right? And then you might pull it back a bit, or you might not. I might not pull it back, to be honest, but that's kind of like the creative process that I'm in. So for me, when you came in, it's like, hi DMs, like I want to test if you're a cult leader or not. I'm like, ooh. I was like, ooh la la, ooh la la. Okay, so this is like this
Really,
shit is on my
it's
altar.
porn, isn't it?
Sorry.
That really is the opening script to a porn, isn't it? It's like all dawning on me.
Yes, 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 yeah. You're
I'm
in a
seeing
porno
how
right now.
fallen into this trap of the fantasy that you've been crafting for yourself so eloquently.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and yeah,
Like that's
that's
I posted a meme the other day. It said Tada is playing 5D chess. I was not lying.
I to answer your question of if I picked up on the fact that you want to make porn, I would say not under those terms,
Yes.
but I have been very interested in your use of the word erotics or like meme erotics or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I haven't grasp what you're
Mm-hmm.
getting at yet. And
Okay. Yeah,
me
yeah.
following you has been a process where I get challenged by something and I maybe feel threatened by that and I sit with it and then I'm like, okay, this is interesting because I feel
That's a sexy
bad about it,
process,
so I
though.
gotta get into it.
Yeah.
I love a challenge. I have always been that kind of person where as soon as I perceive some sort of structural wall. I need to go like kick it over to make sure that it's real, and like none of them are ever real. So I'm just kicking down walls left and right. And
Oh, so you want to kick this down?
this, yeah, I'm just like, okay, so you're establishing yourself as different from other things or other people or other whatever. So I'm interested in like coming through and like kicking over that shit and seeing how structurally sound it is.
All right, I love it. This is like you're like basically fall into the plot of my porno. So whether or not we ever make porn together, somebody will end up playing you. This might happen.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Fine.
so that's this is the reality TV game show thing that you fell into, and I'm loving it. I'm gonna draw another card. Ooh, it got a harder boner. We went to fuck. I think it's. I barely use this deck, so I don't even know. Is that sticks? No, this is cups.
I have no
Oh,
idea.
oh man, I'm such a dummy. Fuck. Do you know Alejandro Jodorowsky?
No.
Um, if you there's a film called PsychoMagica, PsychoMagica, or PsychoMagic, so without
Okay.
the A.
Okay.
He's crazy. I'll just let you know that if you're listening to the podcast, man, I don't even want to talk to you guys. Whatever. I'm talking to Marm. I say go watch PsychoMagic because it's like I think you'll get the kind of porn I want to make. It's like the vibe, but I don't know. My current coach Dare or mentor Dare basically recommended the book to me of tarot that Hodorowski wrote. And Hodorowski's film. So okay, so the kind of thing that he's shot is like a woman who is coming. She gets to go through like a womb ritual. So there's like two naked people. There's like an older man and an older woman, and she's tied to them with an umbilical cord, and they're all naked, and she's like getting reborn out of the older woman's pussy, but like metaphorically, and then lies in her lap and like is like fed milk through this old woman's breast, and she gets to like have this revisiting of childhood. But it's like it's very simple, but it's very very raw and direct, and like super not okay probably as a therapist to do any of that at all, but it's okay as art. So that's like kind of
Right.
like the psycho magic. I feel like you might be into. I don't know. Your vibe feels like that. Yeah, you see your. Yeah. See, yeah, all right, there you go. There you go. I don't know what the fuck this is, but it's a little bit more erect than the last card, and it's also it's a 5. It's a 5. It's a 5 of yeah, 5 of something.
I'm
It's
sure
so
listeners
bad.
will tell us what it
Sorry?
represents. I'm sure your listeners will tell us what it
Oh, don't
represents.
even talk to me about my listeners. I want to forget about my listeners. This is like a total POV movie now. Like I
I
don't give
feel
a
like we're on a date and I keep forgetting that there are people who are going to listen to
I
this.
know, I know, I know. It's great. I mean, that's what you want, right? I get what I want, and you get what you want, maybe.
Yeah, no, this is good. I wanted to be taken out on a date with a stranger over the internet, and I got it in full force, in like more greater scale than I could have possibly imagined. Because
with
now
with
it's like
with
recorded for everyone to enjoy.
okay, well, perfect. Is there part of you a little bit of exhibitionist that kind of way, or you
Yeah,
like being seen? Oh,
but I have to be conscious of the fact that other people in my dynamic don't like that. So I have to make sure that
oh,
I get
interesting.
appropriately, right? You know?
Right. And is that like kind of like you were you a little bit like, oh, this guy's like an exhibitionist? Because you know, I don't actually like doing this at all. It's actually like almost unpleasurable for me. Can you?
Well, I can imagine that being a figurehead in the way that you've crafted for yourself is also uncomfortable. Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Or I mean, I find the self-revealing process. It's like cutting yourself.
Yeah,
I don't get hard while I'm like doing this. Like,
I
do
can
you know what I
believe that.
mean? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, so my background is in theater, but I come from the design side.
Hmm.
A lot of people assume that I'm an actor because my energy is very like
Oh my
on.
god. Okay, yeah, I would have immediately thought, yeah. I mean, I
Well,
stalked you on Facebook, so I thought I already knew that, and now it's a different idea now. Okay.
I liked acting, but people thought I was better at design, and so that's what I stuck with. And
Hmm.
my relationship to performance is that I've always been very close to people who are actors, and it's it's a strange dynamic, like having proximity to people who need to be the center of attention. Um,
Mm.
and I've almost lost the plot of what we were talking about. Can you remind me of how I got started on that?
Okay, well, maybe we could. I mean, it was just about being exhibitionist.
Exhibitionists.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
maybe we can just. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. You can jump to that too. Yeah, I basically said I don't know if I like what I'm doing, even right now. It's like cutting myself open.
Right. So what I was talking about is that I know a lot of people who have become quite successful as performers,
Mm.
and also people who have become successful just as artists in general.
Mm.
And I have witnessed it up close enough to know how deeply uncomfortable I would be with it, even
Mm.
though I have people who are very happy with it, or at least they appear to be happy with it. And I don't, that's none of my business. I just know that it's not something that I could possibly tolerate.
Being a figurehead.
Yes, being famous in any, even in small quantities, because it's a matter of
Mm.
scale, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, totally.
when I was in college, I worked with a theater troupe that went on to become kind of YouTube famous in early days of that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And so I experienced like a tiny, tiny glimmering window of strangers on the internet following me because of something that I had done,
Mm.
which was really interesting because I was like the holographic Pokemon card that like only the really serious collectors knew about because I left, like I didn't
Mm.
stay with the theater troupe as they developed,
Mm.
but I was around for the first one.
Mm.
So
Right, you left the band after the first Weird album,
yeah.
like the
And
Sid Barrett Pink Floyd. Do you know what I'm talking
yes.
about? Oh, you know
Mm,
the reference.
no, I just said yes because I'm trying to be agreeable. I'm sorry. It's totally not
Oh,
what
oh, now we caught some of your personality stuff.
say it again. Sid and who?
Sid Barrett, Pink Floyd.
Okay. No,
So it's
I'm
like
not very
Sid Barrett
familiar.
was like the first in like Pink Floyd before they went Dark Side of the Moon. They had one album that was like a psychedelic rock album, and
Okay.
Sid Barrett is the lead singer, not whoever it is now.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So it's like a legendary like album that nobody cares about, but it has like a person that left the band like yourself.
See, if we were texting, I would have never lied in agreement. I would have said that.
No, but I think the agreeability thing is interesting because we were talking about this whole cult dynamic thing, right? That you were gullible before, and I think part of yours coming here today and being like, Tada, you say all this sexy stuff about accountability and stuff, and I really want this knowledge you're kind of creating for my community, and that make it a better place. But the worst thing I can imagine is for the person who's creating that thing to not at the core of their being somebody who can stand behind the work that they're creating, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, like, and what I can say, like, I know that it looks really weird to the world how I do it, um but that's something that's been the utmost. I mean, even saying this is a kind of trite in the end, but I think it's I'm gonna actually say, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because I was gonna say something aspirational, which would have been a moment of like, tada, I'm gonna take my bra off, my shirt off, I'm like, like that thing that happens. I'm gonna say no. I actually love that you asked. That's the question and inquiry that you're coming in with. I I really vibe with that because I was about to give you like an aspirational answer, and I just was like, I should need to. I'm gonna stop because there's really no way to back up what I was gonna say in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was wondering if you'd try to coach me.
If I try to what?
Coach me.
Coach you into what does that mean?
I wondered if we spoke, if the dynamic that we would fall into would be one of me sort of telling you about, you know, philosophical, existential concerns that I have, and you sort of becoming a wise daddy figure teaching me about how to cope with my fears or whatever. I don't
Oh,
know.
all right.
Like,
Well, I mean, I cannot lie. That's like my best date mode. I mean,
that's not a bad
the,
vibe. I'm not saying that that would have been horrible. I just wondered if that was what was going to
I mean,
happen.
I'll still probably do it a little bit, maybe. Who knows?
If it's consensual, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right, right, right. Well, I mean, it's just like conversation. But yeah. I mean, I think it's a really. I mean, if yeah, I have really thought about that. I mean, it's part of shit. I'm just gonna try to go stream of consciousness, but that's part of why, like, that 5D chess. I'm being really real. I'm still playing the game, right? Because some people were like, "Hey, Tad, that post about like, oh fuck, I mean, shouldn't say this, but Tad, that post about like wanting a pity fuck, right? Like, was that all? Some people were like a little bit like, Tada, like, don't say that about yourself. I'm like, just understand. Like, I'm trying to be famous and fuck a lot of people ethically. You have to understand this and not get fucked over because people adore me too much. And I didn't fucking realize, like, I didn't. I can repeat this story over and over, but I didn't fucking realize that people were hot for me.
I can believe it,
Can
but
you believe that? Yeah, can you believe that? I mean, yeah, right.
you're not the first internet influencer that I've hit on in the DMs. So yes, I can.
Oh, bitch! Oh no! I'm like Slade. Okay. Oh shit! The truth comes
You're
out.
right. And yeah, I've seen it before.
Oh my god! This bitch like
I
just
hope none of your secrets
crucified
are.
me. I just got like mauled there. Oh my god. Okay. I love it. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm like so into this, but I like it. I like it. I got mauled there. I thought I was like special, and you're like, no, I fucking do this all the time, motherfucker.
Not
Um.
all the time, but when I'm feeling a certain type of way. I don't know what you call that emotion, but that's what I was feeling tonight, and I just wanted to be upfront about it.
Okay. 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 All right. Let's get into it. Okay. So that adoration thing's got me really into trouble because of the enmeshment dynamic that it creates, and um, I released a podcast about it, and it one of the things I found out, realized, even in terms of consent, I'm better at consent than most Muggle people, right? Because the Muggle people of the world that are men really suck at it,
Yeah.
and I have a reasonable amount of, through trials and tribulations and like silly things, developed skill in it. At least on the very Muggle level, I would say, like, kind of like the may I touch your hand, like fit in the negotiation of physical boundaries and stuff. I'm pretty solid. And I also have my proclivities, as you noticed, like even in negotiation before this, I push in my desire, but I also like be like, yeah, but there's also a place where you get to totally say no. But my mode is know that I'm actually like an initiatory. An initiatory makes it sound really narcissistic, but like I hope that if people come near me, they realize that they want their edges pushed,
Mm.
and that I'm like pretty publicly like that person. So it's kind of a little bit of like owning the desire. But um, what I found is that when people are really in adoration of me, it's actually a really dangerous dynamic. And I used to think that would get me laid. That was like a stupid thing. Like 4 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna get famous and get laid, and because of course therapists are not supposed to sleep with clients, and teachers are not supposed to sleep with their students. That was a really stupid thing to think. Because if you get famous, if you get famous as like I'm not a therapist anymore, but as a therapist, coach, or whatever, and then it's like, and then as a teacher, all these people want to fuck you, but you're technically not supposed to fuck them. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was getting into that fuckery. I knew I was like, I think I'm even more clear now, right now, in this moment. I was getting into I put myself in a weird hole, and I've been trying to dig out of it. And part of it was also realizing and noticing how much of the power dynamic and power differential between you and another is actually created because the institutions that gatekeep, certify things. And so like for example, if I was certifying you in something and we sleep together and I say like it doesn't go well and I get to take away your certification or make it like the place where you are a bad place. And I've been feeling more and more part of the issue with the power dynamic is not because necessarily that um it's a lot about how power is moving. Let's put it to you that way. Does that make sense? And for that reason, right from the very beginning, I was also thinking about dynamics like, or it has become more of a concern of like, oh, right, like there's a part of me that stupidly got into what I'm doing because I wanted to be seen and witnessed. And, I grew up as like a chubby Asian kid in like the 90s. You know what I mean? I ain't getting anything done. So there's something about like being attracted to people and like as an Asian man or boy, like yeah, I know I have to do something a little bit extra that differentiates me and be a little bit weird and wild. And so that's kind of like an edge pushing or whatever, like that, or there's some kind of energy there, right? It's a little bit incel energy to be honest. But I'm like pushing that edge and then hitting that weird place of like, oh shit. But then I started seeing a lot of teachers around me who they're like dishonest about their desire. Like, oh,
mm,
so you want to be a teacher, you want to be powerful, you want to fame, but you're disowning the desire that like you want to erotically bond with your audience,
mm,
even not even student, but just like audience. Like I've seen like student like that kind of stuff, right? But and erotic doesn't necessarily mean sexual, but like create this very enmeshed relationship. So even
yeah.
like in relationships, there's no sexual desire. You can create a really erotically mesh bonded dynamic, right? So the thing that had me really sad about uh yeah. I don't know, do you have anything to say?
Just that I think I really do understand now that I've had a chance to talk to you about it personally, which is helpful. What
Mm-hmm.
you mean about the erotic in enmeshment, and also sort of like I relate to that sense of it being its own sort of spiritual element, like a river, like something else that is like it can be weaponized, but not everything that can be weaponized is a weapon.
Yes. Oh, that's so beautiful. I like that. I don't know. It's like a very simple thought, but they enjoyed the everything that can be weaponized is not a weapon, or everything that is weaponized is not a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm a little bit high, but I'm still keeping track. So the adoration part, right? What I
Mm-hmm.
what I realized though, um, is actually creates a really deeply uneven dynamic with people, and it's what attracts them to me, but also it's what creates an ex- it creates the downfall in the sense of people when they mesh with through adoration. Often there are some group of people that have a pattern where that can quickly turn into contempt at any sign of like the object of desire breaking a vision of perfection
Mm-hmm.
because the person is the losing the projection that they're projecting on and like the emotional
Yeah.
intensity of the projection. They don't get to re-out that anymore and
Yeah.
they deeply deeply lash out.
Yeah.
And I in my understanding, the details of my cancellation are on my website and stuff, but this adoration contempt dynamic for me has been really uh difficult and also part of the conversation on a podcast that's still yet to be released. But like I experienced something where actually being good at consent became dangerous, which is really sad, right? This is like the sad shit. Is like because like people were so thirsty for like um cons- like somebody to be able to have even a conversation on desires and all the stuff. Like, and I'm a guy, and they interact with me, and I have a lot of kind of interpersonal relational skills too, like unraveling conversations and stuff. Like, and it would create such a dynamic where actually even like the being good at consent, like made even more dangerous for me because there'd be more adoration coming and more expectation of perfection. Because
Yeah.
consent is not a perfect thing, right? Like this is,
Right. Right.
which is also why we had this conversation before starting to hit the record button about liminality and us really being like, is it okay if we really engage in liminality between the yes and the no a bit? Because that's really the place that I think is really needs to be examined within consent culture in and of itself.
Yeah.
Um, and so all this leads me to I have notes here. So what I realized to get myself off the pedestal, and this is the five I was playing 5D chess, is that I realized I have to be a novelty fuck. Does that make sense?
To your audience, you mean?
Yeah, not the cult leader. The only way you get to be kind of famous and fuck a lot of people, and I'm saying that metaphorically and literally, and I don't know really how much I'll cash in on that to be honest, but like I see a life really monogamous end of life, with two tiny houses next to each other by a lake, and then visiting each other across a garden. Like that's my like retirement, but um yeah, then the only way you get to do that in an ethical way, I realized, at least one of the ways, is to be a novelty. So that's like you're not object of adoration, but novelty.
Mm.
Does that make sense? It's like, oh, did you fuck that person? You're like, oh yeah, how was it? Yeah, they're all right. It was really weird though, but they're really nice. They paid for my Uber home, like kind of like thing, and they'd be like, maybe I'll fuck him too. Like that kind of light attitude, I think is
Mm-hmm.
very well suited for me. So that's a part of the pity fuck thing. I was like, I want to actually, you know, be really honest actually, because I am like thirsty and dry and
Yeah.
needing for rejuvenation, but also I felt like I actually want to be a little bit of a novelty. So you're kind of like looking down on me almost a little bit.
I think I know what you mean in the sense that like
Yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention to your rhetoric more than other rhetoric on my newsfeed until you started really directly challenging things that I took for granted to be a given.
Oh.
And then I was like,
Okay.
oh, that's interesting because I internally can feel
Uh-huh.
that the truths that I hold don't add up to 100%. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that I've come to
Oh,
accept.
this is really hot. I love it. Sorry. I'm jiggling a bit. Go on.
Um,
This is like literally the opening for my porno right now. It's like, so my truth doesn't add to 100%, but like, yeah, I know. I know. This is why you're here, right? Like, SJW land don't let you be naughty.
see, okay, you can cast my character in that way. I don't love being painted in that corner. I understand that that's how I read, and that can be
Oh,
the porn. Like I get the point, but I don't know if I fit that perfectly.
yeah.
And
Well,
I get the defensiveness coming up.
that's why maybe you'd make a great starlet because it's not really.
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in that scenario.
Maybe I haven't considered that I too aspire to make porn.
Sorry?
I said, so maybe you haven't considered that I too aspire to make porn.
No, I had a feeling you might actually.
And political porn, but like in the weirdest way.
Okay.
In the same way that I think you want to make political porn, but in a way that like people aren't sure if it's political or they aren't sure if it's porn, but they know they don't like it. And they're
You want to
not
make you want to make political porn?
not like that. Like I don't like that word, but
Mm.
I want to make porn for political reasons. Maybe that's a better way to
Yeah,
phrase.
or I want to make porn for political outcomes.
Sure.
Like I want to sway the election results. Oh yeah.
Like I would never vote for someone who didn't make porn.
You wouldn't ever vote for somebody?
I but like I intrinsically want people to be fucking, and I don't trust people who aren't fucking, and I need people to talk a lot more about the fucking that they are or aren't doing in order for me to feel safe in this world. Like that is how I feel about sex and truth and politics, is that like you know, I need a lot more, I need the world to mimic the way that I have built my life around polyamory, which is in favor of everyone getting all the sex that they want to have, but also requiring all the boundary conversations and all the disclosures about all of the feelings up front, and taking space and taking time and like talking and getting consent about every fucking single thing, regardless of whether it's sex or just a kiss or whatever the fuck it is. Like,
I feel like I feel you. I feel you. I feel like you're overthinking a little bit, but I get you. So I think that's a not adding up to 100 thing, or like it doesn't have to, but there's a little bit of control there.
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely got issues with control, and
Yeah.
I certainly have come up in the social justice warrior pipeline, right? I've
That's so
got
hot.
all
I don't
the,
know why that's turning me on, but it's like really hot. It's actually kind of turning me on. I'll be real. Yeah.
well, congratulations on the boner, but
I mean, no, I didn't say boner.
fine.
Fine.
I
I
didn't mean
think
to
you're giving
imply you're
yourself too
having
much
a
credit.
literal boner.
Sorry?
I didn't mean to imply you're having a literal boner.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, I think it's like warm testicle.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
I certainly I'm not as much of an outsider to the whole situation as you are, probably. And
Mm-hmm.
I come with a lot of baggage that is contingent to my type, you know, like white woman in my 30s from upper middle class, Midwestern lifestyle in America.
Yeah.
And
Realize that the world is shit, and I had to do something about it.
sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I said like realize that the world is shit, and you feel like you had to do something about it.
Well, yeah, I came out as an atheist in second grade. Like I've been fighting for my understanding of my differences from a very, very early age. But my understanding of what made me and my family different was like, oh, everyone in my community is a rich Christian and we're slightly less rich atheists. So I'm different, and that is meaningful. And then it's been this unraveling of realizing how the difference between me and the people that I thought I was different from is like this compared to the vast difference between me and the people that I want to relate to. So that's the journey that I've been on, is like peeling back all of the layers of privilege that I couldn't see from my vantage point, and understanding how people perceive me, and also all the ways in which I've been programmed with bias,
Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on,
etc. Yes.
hold on. One sec. Interesting. Sorry to interrupt. It's just like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
oh no, no, I don't think you're done, but there's something about like what is pleasurable to you. Because I felt like when you started talking about, I mean, I was getting off on you saying, you know, like I'm a SJW princess or something, like whatever I grew up in. I mean, you're like rolling your eyes at the narrative I'm creating in my head to make this my porno, right? Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, there's like this question, I think, when you're talking about that, like what is pleasurable to you? Because I guess like you're saying like, you know, like what's really coming to me right now is that you're crossing a threshold into towards a person that you're like, you actually don't behave like the communities I'm embedded in a way. Like, do you see yourself as the same grouping as me, or like, I'm curious.
I really see myself as the same as anyone, so I'm not really sure what you mean.
Oh, I mean, like, do you see ourselves as the same general social grouping? Belief
As
wise? Yeah.
you, I mean, no, you're like an influencer on the internet, and I'm
Oh, no, but I mean, like,
DMs. Like, what?
so I mean, like, when I go to your Instagram, like, oh, this person probably hates me. It's probably like, why is this person following me? And I feel like what I'm hearing is that, like, I like you because you're different from me, is what I'm hearing.
I definitely know that I have a pattern of being drawn to things that are different from me. So that's certainly a thing and a real
Mm,
thing for me.
yeah.
Um, I also feel that you are speaking truths that are true to me, but I'm afraid to acknowledge other people.
Ah. Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I have like cognitive dissonance with the community that I'm in and how they're dealing with issues of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel comfortable speaking honestly and publicly about my discomforts because the climate does not feel supportive of the discourse of an
Mm-hmm.
of like a good faith discussion of like, is this actually
Mm-hmm.
how we want to handle things?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then on the like third hand, if we are to have another hand, I'm someone who is always recovering from the trauma of being like a young female bodied individual in a patriarchal environment
Yeah.
through my formative years where it really fucked with me that people weren't honest about what they wanted from me or
Hmm.
whatever. So
Hmm.
I'm always working through the things that come up for me about people who make me feel like, oh, this person is someone that I can trust because they are saying things that I can relate to and that I believe are true. And I have a repetitive habit of pedestaling mentor figures in a way that makes me vulnerable to all
Hmm.
kinds of bullshit that I want to blame them for. But at a certain point, once I'm a grown ass adult who's done this over and over again, it's really my fault, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So
Mm-hmm.
taking ownership of that is something that's really important to me. And um, I am motivated by the ways that your discourse challenges some of the things that keep me from pushing myself in those directions. And I don't want to like, I didn't want to like come into your space and like tell you how important or valuable you've been in helping me understand that because I didn't want to keep enacting that for myself.
Hmm.
So that's that.
Is it? I don't know. This is. um. How does it feel if I came closer to you?
What do you mean?
Just like in an imaginal way.
Yeah, that would, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That'd feel good.
Yeah. I mean, you're giving me my primary erotic script again, so you're doing a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Um, mhm.
But I know what feeling you're talking about. That feeling when my chiropractor puts all my bones back into place and I finally feel relief and I just want to fuck him. I know what the fuck you're talking about.
Ah,
That emotion is really real and I feel weird about it, but I know it's real and I don't want to feel bad about it.
yeah.
And I also can't stop wondering if he also feels that way about me, even though like I'm sure I'm just a total patient and it's not something that is meaningful, but it's like it feels meaningful when I have an experience with a professional whose job it is to intimately change the way that I feel in my body.
Yeah.
And it's weird for me that my culture and my society has no acknowledgement of how visceral and real that is. And that's part of the math not adding up as a white woman raised as an atheist in particular, having not only been denied all the things that white people are denied, but also being denied any form of healthy spirituality, being taught that those things are weaknesses, and villainizing the idea of needing a spiritual practice or presence in my life for a very, very long time. It's hard to unwind that. And I think that's a big part of what makes me so vulnerable to mentor figures who invoke that feeling of being held in community, being held by an elder, and being held in spiritual, like intimacy. I don't believe in God, and I don't think I need to believe in God, but I know that I need all of these other things, these more human things that are significantly more tangible in my lack of them at this age.
Yeah.
And I believe that they're all human things, and that's where I feel that the numbers aren't adding up. Is I know that I need people, and I need a human, healthy, safe, consensual dynamic to have all of these feelings with so many people, like not just one monogamous partner, but like my friends and my acquaintances and my doctors and my health professionals and my neighbors and all of these things. Like I feel the erotic in that, my love for my community, and I wish I had a way to communicate that to others without feeling that I'm a threat.
Yeah.
This is also very much like millennial bisexual woman hang-ups of feeling like any of our sexual feelings are threatening in the first place, especially if they're women or non-men. So,
Oh, sorry, did you say if directed towards women or non-men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in any sort of professional context. Like I feel extremely guilty about having attractions towards coworkers because I have been harmed by people having inappropriate boundaries, a lack of boundaries in the workplace. And so I'm really afraid of being a threat, of being someone who makes someone else feel that way, because I don't have any sense of how to regulate those things because we don't acknowledge that it happens often. That the people that you work with are people that you share a feeling with that builds towards a desire that I think is natural to like want to share pleasure with people that you love.
Yeah. Oof. Okay, sorry. A little. May I stroke your hair? You have really nice long hair.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm a little bit lost at words.
Well, I just dumped a lot, so that's fair.
Sorry?
I just dumped a lot.
No. I'm a lot lost for words, and like it's a great orgasmic moment. There's just me going like, okay. Admiring, that's all like I could really do. Yeah.
Feels good to say it all.
Yeah. I mean, if I can break a little bit of silence, there's like that part of it's hard, right? Because that you probably feel a lot of the erotic, the fluidity of it moving around and shaping, and um, it's such a liminal energy. It can be shaped into making artwork with somebody. It can be shaped into sex. It can be shaped into book collaboration. It can be shaped into solidarity. Activist type solid. You know what I mean? Like that flavor. Like it can be shaped into so many things, and um, I think what keeps being a revelation for me is how much of the the shame you might feel or whatever you're feeling of that constriction, a lot of it is because of kind of this institutionalization of our lives, and the boundaries that you be transgressing were not boundaries maybe you say you would consented to have been there, because that's how I feel. I never, like when a person pedestalized me, this has happened, they're like, I pedestalized you, and they kind of blamed me for it, and like I never consented to that effect on me. It's a part of what happens, but I never consented to that. And it's not somebody I slept with or anything. It was just somebody who was like, even like a friend. And they tell me that later, you know what I mean? I got to know them through the work, and I'm um, like they were in some kind of, they were in a coaching group of mine, but like they were local to where I moved, and it wasn't like I did one-on-one therapy work or anything like that. But they got really caught up in like, this is not, they were like, I feel this weird violation energy because this is not supposed to be happening or something like that, because you're technically a da-da-da. And I was like, well, actually it's been over 6 months and we barely did anything together. It was a very like a Facebook, it was a big Facebook group with 100 people, and we just had like hangouts once a month. It wasn't something that you could call any depth of work. But they did tell me that like I idolized you as a spiritual teacher, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like I didn't consent to that dynamic. But and a lot of, I think, though, the reason why that's there is not because I consented or you consented or anybody consented to those boundaries being there. They're put up for a reason, that, and the reason why they're put up in and of itself is to dam the erotic energy from flowing.
Mm.
That's the fucked up thing, I think, because like the truth about like older schools of philosophy and contemplation and magic is everybody kind of fucked each other. So there is this relationship between the institutionalization and building of capital off of something, and the fear of the erotic energy moving within like a spiritual community or any community, that you know what I'm saying? You can probably see the shaping of it, right? It's like the erotic flowing energy, and then rather than containing it in a healthy way, it starts to dam it up
Yeah.
in a way that, and then you see the effects of that, of how all the sexual violence plays out in when things are damned and people transgress the boundary, but in an unethical and non-consensual way. So it's just like, I really feel like it's not like, I think, yeah, your instincts are natural. They might be highly intense, because sometimes when something is dammed up, the intensity heightens actually because it's dammed up, right? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when something is, it's like when something's taboo, you're like, ooh, even more, like, because you're like, I grew up in SJW culture or whatever, and I was like, ooh, okay, I'm not supposed to do this with you. I'm not supposed to like, and then oh no, okay, And before I would have considered we're us in the same tribe or whatever, like on that. I mean, I have a feeling we're in a liminal state here in regards to belonging, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I don't like, I think there's a lot of it. Yes, containment's important, but I think it's also very real that there's a relationship between capitalism and money and um, power, that the boundaries that you might transgress and you feel so wrapped up against is not, it's not, you never consented to that being there in the first place. Yeah. Well, what's happening?
I'm just thinking about how I really didn't think this is how my night was gonna go.
Oh, honey. It was totally how it was gonna go. It was in the cards. Let's see.
This is
Ooh,
good.
oh, this is strength.
Okay. A very interesting figure.
Yeah, I read that as a woman too, right?
Yeah.
That's very
And
cool.
everybody wore dresses back then, whenever then was, but yeah.
Sorry, did you say it was more progressive back then?
I said everyone wore dresses back then.
Oh, okay.
Whatever that was.
Well, let's just say they're femme or queer, whatever.
One of my many jack of all trades dead industry specialties is I have a degree in costume design, so I know a lot about the history of dress.
Ah, so would you say this is like men and woman in between? I mean, this is probably like gender binary, right? At this time, so maybe it is queer.
It's probably a woman. It depends on the hair.
Mm. Well, I think it's very compelling though, right? Because woman, strength, lion, or sorry,
Yeah,
a dog. Yeah, I don't quite know what it's telling us, but I think it was not it was unexpected. Unexpected. Yeah. Well, I feel like you're in a little bit of like a post-coital glow. It's just that's my narrative right now.
I mean,
But
I
right?
always feel like a good cry is a lot like an orgasm. So I think
Yeah.
that's a very fair assessment. And especially crying
Yeah.
with someone that like I don't actually know is like a
Yeah.
very weird kind of orgasm.
Oh yeah. you, you
So
know you know I can tell the internet right now. Saying, oh fuck, I don't even want to talk to you. One of one of my top fetishes is crying.
really,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. It's like yeah.
I don't think I could be intimate with someone that I'd never seen them cry.
Right?
Yeah. So I kind
Yeah.
of know.
Yeah, but it's like the crying is like orgasmic or yeah. But it is actually like a so if I made porn, like this is literally what's happening still.
It's so dumb because I feel like I've tried to explain to people the idea that there could be porn, but like no one's actually naked or fucking, but like just on some level it technically is because of just like how vulnerable it
Yeah.
is or something. And
Yeah.
like I feel I get how this is
Oh yeah.
aspiring to that construct. And
Oh yeah. Oh, we're
I'm
in
not
it.
for that construct. Like I'm very down for that concept of
Yeah.
this being a pornographic experience in which I am exhibitionistically revealing myself to you and on some level your audience, who are all strangers to me,
Yeah.
presumably, and some of them maybe not strangers to me, which is even more
I
scary.
mean, okay, good question. Like, how does your pussy feel right now?
Oh, man, didn't mean to talk about this. I masturbated pretty hard before we got on the phone, completely separate from you. So
Okay.
it's not responsive due to being like already fully.
Shit. That was not the answer I was looking for, but it's honesty.
No, I mean it, that's it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna like. Honestly, I don't know if I'm about to really tell you the truth because this is, there are people listening.
There's other people's stuff? What?
Because there are people who will hypothetically be listening, but that's a very intimate question, and you caught me off guard with that. It made
Okay,
me
okay. I
want.
mean, you don't have to answer it, right?
No,
I'm feeling
I,
circulation. I'll just be real.
yeah, no, I like, I like the parts where you ask to come closer to me or whatever,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. The fact that we have distance and you're changing the feeling of the distance by
Yeah.
describing a changing of distance is
Mhm.
funny to me because I'm a theater person and I'm like, that's dumb. But I'm also like, man, that works. So it's
Yeah,
also
yeah, it
really
totally works.
smart. Yeah.
I'm totally have my hand wrapped around you. Absolutely, it works.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
is that okay?
yeah, it is.
Okay,
It is.
okay, 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 good.
So yeah, like if your magic is to tell if I'm feeling your
Yeah,
presence in my
you're
body right now, I am.
you're feeling what in your body? You said?
Your presence in my body. Yeah, that's
Okay, that's a much harder thing than I expected. Yeah, I mean, all right.
the most interesting first date I've had in years, to be honest.
Oh.
I don't do a lot of like dating. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have people, and that's
Mm-hmm.
different than dating. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, it was very fun for me, to whatever degree that this occurred, just like getting on the video chat with you was going to be an intimate and scary experience that was going to rile up my
Mm.
adrenaline and my anxieties. And I was going to feel like I did a scary thing, like no matter
Right.
how minor this was. And now I've like cried and we've talked about how my pussy's feeling, and this whole thing is very intense. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think we can go, you know, we can turn it off and go behind the scenes now. But yeah, you've been a great starlet. Thank you so much. Can you wave for the fans?
hi, fans.
Okay,
Don't
I'll
tell
turn.
my mom.
Okay, we'll when you call it, clean up now.